Hi, today we're going to talk about the 5-number summary and box plots. They go together. You can't do box plots without a 5-number summary. So we're going to look at both of those today a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to do it by hand, and then I'm going to show you how to use a calculator, as always with most of my lessons. So you should be seeing my screen. And so we'll just get started. All right, the 5-number summary, or you might see it abbreviated FNS, 5-number summary, consists of the minimum, Q1, the median, Q3, and the maximum. And we already know how to find the median because I've already shown a lesson on that. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch the video. It's called Measures of Center. So median is a center. And we can write that here. It is the center of the data, or the middle. And then minimum is kind of self-explanatory. That is the smallest number. Maximum, also kind of self-explanatory, the largest number. And then Q1 and Q3, you're kind of like, what is Q1 and Q3? That's quartile 1 and quartile 3. So a box plot is broken up into quarters. So these 4 quarters. And Q1 is the median of the lower half, which makes Q3 the median of the upper half of the data. So you will still have to put your data in numerical order. And since we're putting them in numerical order, we're talking about quantitative data. So once you put your observations in order, then you can find all of these numbers for the 5-number summary. The visual representation of a 5-number summary is sometimes called a box and whisker plot because it has whiskers, but usually just box plot. If you say either of those, people will know what you mean. And this box is helpful because it can tell us central tendency, since we're looking at medians, location of the middle 50% of the data, dispersion, which means spread or variability, skewness or symmetry. So this box is just a picture of our 5-number summary. And just to kind of reference skewness and symmetry, we've looked at these graphs before. That's right skewed because it has a right tail, symmetric, left skewed because it has a left tail. So likewise in box plots, if it has a long right whisker, it is right skewed. If the whiskers are pretty much even, it's symmetric. And if the whisker points is longer on the left, it's left skewed. So it's kind of a different picture of a distribution shape. And then outliers are responsible for skewing the data. We talked about this when we looked at mean and median. No, just mean, sorry. It wasn't the mean median mode video, but we're just talking about mean. How an outlier, which is an extreme, an extreme value compared to the rest of the data. So it's that value that's so much different than the rest of the data. We call it an outlier. But you can't just decide on your own if something's an outlier. There's certain ways that you can definitively determine that a number is an outlier or not. So Maybe you see a number that you feel like is way outside your data, and so you just call it an outlier. You can check to make sure if it's an outlier or not by using these little formulas here. So we set limits or fences, and the lower fence, if it's past this, Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, then it's an outlier, sorry. And for the upper limit or upper fence, if it's past this, then it is an outlier. So you can have an outlier that skews it to the left, which would be smaller than the rest of your data, and you can have an outlier that skews it to the right, which would be larger than the rest of your data. So what is IQR? IQR is the inner quartile range, which means Q3 minus Q1. So those are your inner quartiles, and we're trying to find the range. And if you remember, range is max minus min. In this case, when we're talking about quartiles, our maximum quartile is Q3, our minimum quartile is Q1, and we're finding that range. And if it's 1.5 times below Q1, it's an outlier. If it's 1.5 times above Q3, it's an outlier. And on some box plots, you might see this sign or this symbol, it's an asterisk. That means it's an outlier. And this is in a modified, whoops, I'm so sorry. There we go. Modified box plot is what it's called. And you can't see that. There we go. A modified box plot is what it's called when they mark the outliers with the asterisk. So that's kind of some background on the 5-number summary and the box plot. So let's take a look at one. We have an example here. We're making a box and whisker or box plot, but before we can draw a box plot, we have to have the 5-number summary. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to put these values in order, because I can find the minimum and maximum without putting them in order, but I can't find the rest. So we will start with the smallest number and go in order. Hopefully I don't miss any here. If you want to pause it and try to do this on your own, please do that. So once you put them in order, it should look like this. You want to count and make sure that you've used all values, or do like I did and put little lines underneath. I wouldn't necessarily mark them out, because then you can't see them when you go back and check your work. Underlining or circling is fine. So I put them in order. This means I can easily see the minimum and maximum right off the bat. And then you can see here they called it Q2. I usually call this the median. Means the same thing, but I usually say median. And you'll see in the calculator it's called median, so that's more widely used. So I'm going to find the median first, because that sets up my lower half and upper half, which I'm going to need to find these. So median is the middle, which you can try to eyeball it, or you can do it where you mark out, you know, the outsides until you find the middle, which is fine. We would see that 23 is the middle. Or we had a little formula we used where we did n plus 1 over 2 to find the position of the median. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. So it is the 6th number. The median is not 6. It is the 6th number in our ordered list. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this sets up our lower half and upper half. You'll notice I didn't include the median in those halves. I've already used the median, so it's not included in my lower half and my upper half. So for my lower half, for Q1, I am finding the median of the lower half. So I am just looking at the lower half. The median is here, and then the median of the upper half is here. And that's your 5-number summary. Once you have your 5-number summary, you can draw your box plot. I'm going to erase this so I have space. They already have a number line for us down here, which is great. I don't know what this data represents, so I can't have anything to label down here as far as what the variable is. So I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to put a little tick mark where each of my 5 numbers are. So I need a tick mark at 8. I'm going to go above it. So I need it to be kind of raised up in the air. Tick mark at 39 above it. Obviously a rough sketch. You can see it's already tilting a little bit. That's okay. Q1, there's an 11. Median at 23. Q3 at 32. So I have all these tick marks here. They're all very uneven as far as length, but we can try to fix that a little bit. It's closer. We're getting closer. It's just a sketch for now. And you can see there's 5 tick marks. The 3 in the middle form your box. So I'm going to connect these. There's my box. And then these 2 outside form your whiskers. And you can label them if you want to. This is the minimum, Q1, median, Q3, maximum. You can even go further and write the numbers that they are. 8, 11, 23, 32, 39. And that's it. That's how you draw it. Are there any outliers? Looks like to me there's probably not going to be, but just to kind of give you an example of how you would find that, remember that an outlier is on the lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. And on the upper fence, it's Q3 plus, because we're going above, IQR, which means that we need to find what IQR is. IQR is the interquartile range. So you think about what is range, max minus min, and what are your quartiles? 32 minus 11. So we take Q1 minus 1.5 times 21. And then Q3 plus 1.5 times 21. We're going to get those values. You can get those values, hit pause and come back. I got negative 20.5 and positive 63.5. Those values are not in our data set. There are no outliers. So no outliers. This is a little bit right skewed, but there are no outliers. Okay, and like I said earlier, you can find the 5-number summary and view a box plot on your calculator. I have here in your calculator, you just go to 1var stats, just like we did mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. And then in Fathom, you go to a summary, and I'll show you that in a second. And then in your calculator, you can view a box plot. You'll have to go to stat plot, turn it on, click on the box plot, zoom 9, and then there's that. So in Fathom, it's a drag and drop type of thing. I am going to show you the calculator and Fathom just so you can see what it looks like. All right, let me share my screen so you can see it. Here is the data from the box plot we just did. I'm going to pull down a graph. I'm going to drag my data over. That's a dot plot. I'm looking for a box plot. There it is. Done. And then I believe you can click on the values, yeah, and it shows you what those are. So I do want to point something out here. The box plot doesn't show you specific values in the data set. So if you were just given a box plot, you wouldn't be able to tell just from the box plot what values are in here. It's just showing you the medians and the spread. So I just want to point that out. In a dot plot, however, we can see the specific values down here. So there's a difference between those, and that's kind of how you can decide which one you're wanting to choose. And then if I pull down summary, I wonder if I can make this a little bit bigger. I can't remember. I think it's in preferences. Where is that? Another time. I'll do that another time. Drag this over here. It gives me the mean, which is great, but I'm actually looking for, I right-clicked, I'm looking for the 5-number summary. And there it is, all done. Minimum, Q1, median, Q3, maximum. All done for us. We could check our numbers. We see that they're correct. There's our picture. Easy peasy. You can also do this in a calculator. This is actually a TI Inspire, so it's a little different, but this is what it would look like. If you have a TI 84, you would use the, you would go to Stat, Edit, input your values, go to second Y equals for stat plot, go to the first one, turn it on, select your box plot, zoom 9, and there it is. Actually, that's the wrong one. That's different data. I went to Stat, Edit. That's different data. That was from the basketball team. And then I went to second stat plot, turned the first one on, went to down, 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 the box plot, hit enter, zoom 9. So different box plot, but same steps. I don't have the TI-84 calculator on my, or software on my computer, so that's why I can't show you. But there are TI-84, free TI-84 apps for iPads and iPhones. I have a really good one, and it does a lot of the stat calculations, like 1-var stat, which is great, but I cannot figure out how to make it do the box plot. So I'm still working on that. Once I find it, I'll share that with you. I will show you the app just so that you can see it, what it looks like. If you wanted to download it, it is free. You can buy it and get the full capabilities without the ads and stuff. But if you want something that's free, this is a pretty good calculator. I have several scientific calculators I'll share with you so you can see them. This one is, here's a couple. The blue one in the top left is EDU Calc Classic. It is okay, it doesn't do statistics. The one on the second row, the second one, it says CalculatorX. This is probably the best one as far as statistics that I could find that was free. And then there's also Desmos, which is this green one right here. And that's a really good one also. But I am going to show you this guy, CalculatorX. I went to Stat, Edit. I input some random data. This was just something for me to test out. And then I went to home screen, went to Stat, Calc, 1-var stats, calculate, and there's the mean is at the top, standard deviation, minimum, Q1, median, Q3, maximum. So that's the TI-84. It's the same steps as the TI-84, and let me stop sharing. And it's free. So that's nice, but it doesn't do the box plot that I'm aware of. It has the, anyway, long story short, doesn't do it yet. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. That's all I have for, no, wait, sorry. You just thought you were done. There was one thing I wanted to point out that you need to know as far as finding the median. Let me try to share this real quick. So sorry. Okay. It's just one last teensy example, just in case you come across it. I don't want you to be blindsided. Go here. Take just a second. Let's say we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say this is our data set, and you want to find the 5-number summary. Ran out of room. Min, Q1, median, Q3, maximum. The minimum's 1, maximum 6. The median, here's the lower half, here's the upper half. The median is in between 3 and 4. And then we've used this as our median. So this is our lower half. That's the median of the lower half. This is our upper half, and that's the median of the upper half. So that's, if you have an even amount of numbers, that's how you're going to do that. I showed the one previously where there was an actual, the median was part of the data set, and you don't use it in your lower half and upper half. And then in this case where there's an even amount of numbers and our median was actually not in the data set, it's 3.5, and then that splits up our 2 halves. So that's all. That's the last example. I'm done with that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know and I would be happy to help. Talk to y'all next time.